And right when they came out, I was like, oh, you know what? This is the easiest pop-up I have ever created.
We interrupt this program to bring you this important message. Welcome to Marketing Interruption, a daily podcast powered by BlueTuskr that interrupts your day with marketing news, tips and strategies from an entrepreneur who lives and breathes marketing. Now, let the interruption begin with your host, Andrew Maff.
Hello and welcome to episode number 39 of Marketing Interruption. I'm your host, Andrew Maff. Today, I'm going to be giving Privy so much love. Recently, they just announced that they are going to be releasing a book. I think it's in October. If you don't know who Privy is, Privy came out years ago. And right when they came out, I was like, oh, you know what? This is the easiest pop-up I have ever created. A lot of them were really limiting. I couldn't make them as branded as I wanted them to. I was like, this is great. And they were doing really well. I loved it. I had no issues with them. They were super nice. The customer service was amazing. The price was like nothing in comparison to some of these other companies that are doing pop-ups. And the integrations with all the different email marketing platforms were amazing. And then all of a sudden, they just blew up. They have been everywhere. Their content is nuts. They have their own podcast, which when this one's over and you've listened to all of mine, then you can go over to theirs. Which is also e-commerce related. But today now, by the way, they're doing like SMS and they're doing email marketing and they're doing all this extra stuff. But I'm going to focus on the pop-ups today. So obviously I wanted to touch on all of the main pop-ups that you should definitely be setting up or at least be testing. So your first one is obviously the most common one. It's your welcome series. This is when someone first comes to your website. Hopefully it's the first time they've been to your website. You really don't want to show it too often, but this is kind of your standard where it's like sign up, get 10% off and join our newsletter and stuff like that. Abandoned cart is another one where someone adds to the cart and then they go to leave. So they may be leaving typically it's by almost like a browser abandonment. So, or kind of like an exit intent, which I'll touch on, but they're in the cart and they go to leave and you can actually have an immediate pop-up show up right before they leave that can maybe offer them a discount or maybe just ask them to reconsider or something along those lines. You could even just show them a list of questions that they may be thinking about. Exit intent, which is the one I previously just mentioned, but decided to go into abandoned cart, is the same concept, but for someone who's not in the cart. So someone who's on your website who goes to exit out of the browser, this will trigger and essentially ask them to stay on the site. A lot of times we'll use a really small discount here to try to keep them going, but it kind of depends on your branding. Discounts aren't great for everyone. Then you have content specific. So if you're doing a lot of blog posting and things like that, which I hope you are, you can do a lot of different pop-ups that are related to the content they're on. So the nice thing that I like about Privy, and again, they're not paying me to do this, but the nice thing I like about Privy is that you can really harness the targeting by saying only show on pages with this in the URL or only show to people coming from Instagram or if the source is this or anything along those lines. And so if you're making a lot of content that's relevant to a certain category and you have some kind of offer that you want to give to them or you have some kind of ebook or white paper or anything like that, this is a great way to kind of hone in that segmented audience. User specific. So if someone is coming specifically from Instagram, like I just mentioned, or if they're coming specifically from, let's say you did an ad campaign on Forbes and you had them click over. Well, if the source is from Forbes, you can have a certain pop-up show up for them and you can say, well, you just saw us in Forbes, so that means you're interested in this. They'll have to click here or something like that. So think about where they're coming from and you can actually change your copy and your creative based on that. And then last but not least is for campaigns. So obviously, if you're doing a holiday campaign with Black Friday coming up and you're doing something very similar, you can change all the branding and change all your pop-ups so that every pop-up that does show up is similar to your campaign. And that will keep your branding going. Those are all the ones I wanted to mention. Quick little bonus there is I would tweak them all to be one for mobile and one for desktop and duplicate them because mobile doesn't like it when it shows up and it takes up the entire screen. Common sense, but hey, what are you going to do? So that's all I had for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If not, rate, review, subscribe, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you for joining us for today's Marketing Interruption. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And don't forget to email marketinginterruption@bluetuskr.com with any marketing questions you'd like to have answered on the show. And head over to marketinginterruption.bluetuskr.com to catch up on past episodes. Until next time, we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.